Okay, so you wouldn't believe what you've got us digging into this time. It's a bit of a head-scratcher, really, on the surface. We're talking about adults, grown-ups, people with jobs, mortgages.
Right. Responsibilities.
Exactly. And they're spending serious money on toys. And I don't just mean like a small nostalgic thing here and there. We're talking full-blown collections.
Oh, yeah.
Think about those huge Lego sets, the ones that look more like architectural models.
Totally. Or those vintage action figures that go for like a small fortune.
Right. And Hot Wheels collections taking up whole rooms, even those $300 Transformers. More like engineering projects than kid stuff.
Definitely sophisticated. It really begs the question, doesn't it? What is going on here?
It absolutely does.
And the scale of it, well, that's what initially grabbed me. The sources we looked at, they confirm this isn't just some fringe hobby anymore.
Oh.
This Kidult market, that's what they're calling it. Basically, adults buying toys meant for kids. It now accounts for, get this, over a quarter of all toy sales.
A quarter? Wow.
We're talking tens of billions of dollars annually. So it's clearly not just a few folks holding on to childhood things.
Right. It's way beyond that.
Think about Lego, for instance. Their record profits, they aren't just driven by kids anymore. A huge chunk comes from adults.
The ones building those super complex sets.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Sitting down after work, meticulously putting together these intricate models. It's significant.
Okay, so let's move beyond the impressive sales figures. Let's really dig into the why. That's our mission here, right? Understand the core drivers. Is it just nostalgia? A whole generation suddenly remembering their childhoods?
To be part of it.
Or is it like a collective midlife crisis playing out with plastic and die-cast metal? Or, and this is where it gets interesting, is it something, deep? The articles hint at that.
Yeah, they do. Like maybe these things are a form of therapy or self-expression.
Or even just a way to cope with, well, modern life.
I think that's the crucial layer we need to unpack. While nostalgia might be the starting point for some.
Right, the initial hook.
But the motivations seem to run much deeper. One article used this phrase that really stuck with me. Tangible joy.
Tangible joy. I like that.
Yeah. In our world, which is so digital, so much stuff is just ephemeral, right?
Pixels on a screen.
Exactly. So the actual weight, the feel of a physical object, it provides this grounding, a kind of sensory anchor that, digital stuff often lacks.
Ah, okay. I see.
And this tangible joy, it becomes like a powerful antidote to all the sort of abstract stress and anxiety we deal with every day.
So like the physical act of snapping Lego bricks together, or carefully positioning an old action figure, that tactile thing.
Precisely. It's direct. It's real. You can feel it.
That makes sense. It's almost like these toys are acting as little time machines. One source put it that way, and it really resonated.
Oh, I like that too. A time machine, yeah.
Transporting adults back to a time that felt, I don't know, simpler, safer, maybe more magical.
Definitely less complicated.
No bills, no urgent emails. Just that pure, focused feeling of building something or playing.
It's such a stark contrast, isn't it, to the constant pressure, the burnout. That feeling seems almost standard now in adult life.
Yeah, sadly.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, the sources touched on something really fundamental.
Like yes.
The basic human need for play.
Ah, right. Play isn't just for kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Psychologists actually suggest it's like vital for our well-being, as important as sleep or food.
But we tend to think it stops after childhood.
We do. It's like we think joy just expires. But the adult world, it often lacks those, unstructured, safe spaces just to be creative and mess around.
Okay.
So toys, in a way, they kind of step in to fill that gap. And psychologically, engaging in play releases dopamine.
The pleasure chemical.
Right. The reward signal in the brain.
Yeah.
And in adulthood, these toy-related activities, they can provide those little hits of dopamine that might be missing from, the daily grind.
So it's not just about escaping the bad stuff. It's actively seeking out positive feelings that might be missing.
Yeah, exactly. And the articles also mentioned how these activities can help manage anxiety.
How so?
By offering a sense of control. Think about it. Meticulously finishing a model kit or organizing a collection just so.
Right. You're in charge of that little world.
Precisely. There's a tangible achievement there, a feeling of mastery, which can be really comforting when the rest of the world feels chaotic.
And there's creativity too, isn't there? Even just arranging figures.
Absolutely. Even just posing action figures can be a small act of self-expression, creating a little scene.
Huh. Interesting. And what about connection? Is this mostly a solitary thing?
Well, that's another key point the sources brought up. It's not always solitary. Not at all.
Oh.
We're seeing this big growth in adult toy collecting communities.
Like online forums and stuff?
Yeah, online forums, dedicated social media groups, but also in person. Fan conventions, meetups.
Right.
There's this shared enthusiasm, a sense of belonging that comes from connecting with other people who just get it.
Who appreciate the same things.
Exactly. Bonding over shared memories, or the thrill of finding that rare item, or just enjoying, say, a particular movie franchise through its merchandise.
It's fascinating how a seemingly individual hobby can actually build community. You mentioned the term Kidult earlier. Can you elaborate just a bit more on what that means in this context?
Sure. So Kidult is basically just shorthand for adults who buy and engage with toys, games, collectibles, things traditionally aimed at kids.
Gotcha.
And these Kidults are forming these really quite vibrant communities. You hear about adult-only Lego building nights, for example.
Huh. Yeah, that's definitely a different vibe than kids just scattering bricks everywhere.
Right. And just look at the number of subscribers on YouTube channels dedicated to, like, unboxing videos or toy reviews. It points to a real sense of community there.
Absolutely. Okay, so if we pull all this together, synthesize what we've gleaned from the sources, the picture that emerges, it isn't just like rampant consumerism, is it?
No, I don't think so. It really does feel more like a response to some of those underlying pressures of modern life we talked about.
The anxiety, the burnout, maybe feeling disconnected.
Yeah, all of that. And these toys, they offer something tangible, comfort, a little dopamine boost maybe, in a world that can feel pretty draining emotionally.
One article called it a quiet revolution. I like that.
Me too. A subtle pushback maybe,
Right.
against the idea that being an adult means you have to give up imagination and joy.
Yeah, letting go of play.
So, circling back to those first questions we had, is it just nostalgia?
Doesn't seem like it. Maybe a starting point, but not the whole story.
Right, a midlife crisis.
Possibly for some individuals, but the scale seems way too big for that to be the main explanation.
Agreed. An escape.
Yes, partly, but maybe a necessary one, like finding moments of presence, a bit of control.
A healthy escape, perhaps, and a rebellion against adult pressures.
A quiet one, maybe? Like reclaiming the permission to just play.
Yeah. Ultimately, it seems to tap into that fundamental human need for play, for joy. Something we're maybe finally realizing doesn't just disappear when you grow up.
Exactly. It's not just about buying stuff. It's about, what was that phrase? Buying back a piece of ourselves.
That was a good one. Reconnecting with that sense of wonder, maybe freedom. Things that can get a bit lost in the day-to-day of adulting.
Yeah, lost in the shuffle.
And, building on that idea of individual comfort, the sources also really stress that social side too.
The communities.
Yeah, finding belonging, that shared passion. It's not just about personal solace, it's also about connection with others.
Right, right. Both aspects are important. So considering everything we've unpacked here, it makes you think, doesn't it? What toys, and I mean that broadly, sources of joy, unstructured creativity, what toys might be worth holding on to in your own life?
That's a great question to ponder.
Yeah. And now that we understand maybe some of the deeper needs these purchases are fulfilling, what other ways could we cultivate that tangible joy in our daily routines?
Interesting thought. Beyond just buying things.
Exactly. It's definitely given me something to think about.